Well, Kevin Poulter is a lawyer and one of our technology experts. He joins us now with more on this latest story from the so-called dark web. And what I'm curious about is, what is the dark web? I mean, I know it's sort of an online underworld that's just hugely lucrative.
Well, yes and no. It's been around for quite a long time. It was actually developed by the military as a place to have sort of off-the-record chats and discussions, and it was given over to to the public back in 2004, I believe, and has been developed by not only, as we've seen now, the criminal underworld, but also legitimate activists, people who have concerns about their own privacy, and, as we've now known, the hackers who meet together to discuss ways of working, but also opportunities, I suppose, as well. So, yes, it has been used by the criminal criminal element, but also, and the FBI have recognised, it does have some legitimate use as well.
Right. Now, Silk Road really was a poster child for the wrong kind of sites, the drugs and so on. Now that it's been taken down and he's been taken down, is that going to act as a deterrent, do you think?
Apparently not. Many people believe that the fact that this chap was found and that Silk Road was taken down was all by luck. As we've seen in the report there, that they went into great detail to try and discover, just to unpick and unravel an identity at least. And maybe a bit of luck, maybe it's down to a lot more, but particularly the US and Europe now, there's a lot of work being done by the criminal agencies to try and to break down this underworld and this criminal network. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. And the problem is that there's so much of it. And there's an argument as well that it's being kept away from what we call the surface web, from the Googles and the search engines that we're using. This is being kept in a separate place and is more difficult to access, and maybe protecting people from these criminal elements too.
Now, his defence lawyers had argued that he was framed and that he'd actually closed down the site, but that clearly didn't wash, did it?
Well, I think the estimate of $18 million in Bitcoin suggests that there's probably something, it's coming from somewhere. It's not, no. I think very short period of time, all 7 counts that he was charged with, he's been found guilty of. And I think that says probably all we need to say about it. If there are other people out there, unfortunately, it might be a case of whack-a-mole, where you chop one head off and then a few more pop up in its place. And this could happen indefinitely. And is there a deterrent? Maybe, but with that sort of money, the lucrative nature of this, I suspect there'll be a lot more people looking out there now to get in on the action.
Yes, it's always going to be a draw, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah, with that kind of money, as you say.
Yeah.
This whole thing about Bitcoin, though, it's kind of thought of as a kind of tech-savvy criminal's lifeline, really. But in actual fact, it was the fact that he used Bitcoin that helped the FBI to catch it.
Yeah, but also I think because of this, when Silk Road was taken down, the value of Bitcoin dropped considerably as well, and no doubt that will be an impact from this. The anonymity only goes so far. The way that the Darknet is accessed is through a network which bounces around the computer signal through many different relayed computers. Of course, there are ways to track them back. We see it on the films nowadays, how these things can be broken down. The likes of Mission Impossible actually becoming more and more true. And I think this is one example where we've seen fiction becoming a reality. And perhaps the regulators, the FBI, are catching up with the criminals, and maybe we're seeing a turn now. On the other hand, maybe we're not. Maybe it was just luck.
There was also a sense, of course, that he was just the fall guy, that there are sort of bigger, you know, fish behind the scenes that were never caught.
He's got quite a lot of support, in fact, hasn't he, among some people?
Yeah, and I suppose it's up to him to tell people, and he's already tried to protest his innocence. It's not washed with the jury. It's not washed with the sort of the court. So he's got a long time to think about it, as they're expecting now, I think, a lifetime sentence.
Absolutely, yeah. Wow.
So who knows what will happen next, and who knows what other investigations are already going on, and where we'll be in another 6 or 12 months' time.
Yeah, I think there's another case that he has to answer in Baltimore. So,
that's right.
Yeah, we'll see. For now, though, Kevin Poulter, thank you.
Thank you.